Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people? Well, welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm Angel Rivera, and this, once again, is Mrs.Witchy Perfect. And welcome to the show, everyone. By the way, we are also live on Substack, so let me do this and put it in the chat. So, just in case you prefer to watch it there, that's fine with me. I have it open here, so hope everybody had a great weekend. Tonight, we're going to review Saturday night's main event. And tonight, I just found out, tonight is the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. In fact, it starts in an hour. So
Yeah. I'm not really going to watch it. I mean, I'm not going to waste $50 for shit.
No, I'm not going to watch it either, but I just
okay.
wanted to mention.
You can review that next week if you want to.
I mean, that's fine. So I'm looking through the card real quick. It's like 11 matches. Actually, no, 13. No, it's 13. Wait. Let me count again. There's 2 pre-show matches and 9 main card matches. That makes 11 total. That's why I got the 11 number from. So I'm just gonna read it off real quick, and we can chuckle about it, and then we'll get to Saturday night's main event, which was better than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, what the hell was that? I mean, that was better than Backlash. Backlash was
like, But this pre-show match is going on right now. Some random women, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Okay.
Well, I heard that Brian Last was saying that Megan Bayne was going to be something, and unfortunately, Jim Cornette disagreed with him. I don't know. I don't watch this stuff. No. I mean, I'm disgusted with what I saw on X, and we'll talk about that later because that was indie shit, and I'm like, that's not no. Yeah, that's not wrestling.
Megan Bayne is she's like nearly 6 foot tall and like nearly 200 pounds. She's a big, like Rhea Ripley big.
She's a big girl. And I just don't think they're booking her the way that Brian Last would. He kind of seems like, she's going to be the next Rhea Ripley. We'll see.
If booked properly, but
she needs to get to WWE, not this AEW shit that they call wrestling.
No, because there's no way Megan Bayne is beating either Toni Storm or Mercedes Moné. I mean, neither of them want to put her over. So it's like, Tony doesn't have the balls to tell them to put her over.
Isn't someone the champ? I think, isn't Toni Storm a champ?
Yeah, she's been the champion for months. I think she
dropped after winning the belt from what's her face.
She briefly dropped it to Mariah May, but she got it right back. She got it right back instantly. Right. She's a champion still. So, all right, that's whatever. The second pre-show match is Ropingi Vice, Rocky Morero and Trent Beretta versus CRU, Action Andretti, Leo Rush versus Bandito, AR Foxy, Los Titanes de Aire, Hologram and Commander. What the fuck was that?
That was a mouthful even for you.
It's an 8-man tag team match. Is what it listed as here.
Okay, 8-man tag.
I don't know. Only one. I know who Action Andretti is. He's that guy who briefly got over in the Indies, and Tony signed him and then relegated him to Collision. Never saw him again. I forgot he even existed. Leo Rush, he was in WWE for a bit. Vince fired him instantly once he saw how small he was. Bandito, I don't know who that is. AR Fox, Jabroni, I guess. And Los Titanes de Aire, a.k.a. the Titans of the Air, a Hologram and Commander. So I don't know who they are either, really.
Hologram is like, he literally wrestles like a hologram. I mean, there's no substance to this guy whatsoever.
He's Tony Khan's pet project, but he stuck him on Collision, and he's been, I forgot about him. So he can't even get him over, because he stuck him on Collision.
And because he's not that good of a wrestler, he just kind of goes through the motions. And here we have another. I mean, yeah, like I said, he wrestles like a hologram. There's no wrestling about this, guys. This is just Circus Soleil performers jumping around pretending to be wrestlers. I can't say enough bad things about the whole thing, but okay, so I think that Toni Storm is going to win, and I don't know who to choose with this one. I go with probably hologram, maybe. I don't know.
I don't.
It's a toss up. Toss a coin, and that's who will win.
I'm just reading off some of the matches here, but I'm not really going to predict anything. The main card has is the Owen Hart Foundation Cup final.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné. So we all know who's going to win this match. It's not going to be Jamie Hayter.
No, wait. Moné is wrestling twice?
No, she's wrestling once. She's in the Owen Hart tournament final.
Wasn't she Toni Storm and
Toni Storm is wrestling Mina Shirakawa for the world title, but Moné.
Well, on the pre-show is Moné and Toni Storm.
No, that was Megan Bain. That was Megan Bain on the pre-show.
Okay, Megan Bain. Okay.
Wow.
Mercedes
Mercedes gonna win this thing.
Moné,
because they're gonna set up
Moné. Because
they're gonna set up that big unification title match between Moné and Toni Storm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, how many times has Moné lost in the past, like, year and a half since she came to AEW and became this big star that gets?
I don't think she's lost once.
Like $4 million.
She's lost once in AEW. I'm trying to think it.
Yeah, they're putting her over.
Since she got to AEW and got all those belts, she lost once in New Japan. And by the way, she didn't even take the fall. Somebody else did. It was like a 3-way match for her, that women's strong title in New Japan. And of course, she didn't take the fall. The other girl took the fall. So she dropped the belt without taking the fall. So it was like.
Well, yeah, it's like, Mr. Perfect and Lanny. Lanny took the fall, but Mr. Perfect didn't. And they still counted that as, his perfect record was fine. That was before WrestleMania 6 when he would meet Beefcake in WrestleMania 6, and WrestleMania 6 would be Beefcake beating Kurt, and he would lose his streak. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of like that. House shows don't count.
So, Mercedes Moné is winning this tournament, the Owen Hart tournament, and then she's going to advance to face Toni Storm.
He's probably rolling over in his grave. What the fuck?
At All In. So the next match listed here is an AEW World Tag Team title match between the Hurt Syndicate, the champions, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, versus Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, the Sons of Texas.
Yeah, Jim Cornette said, I didn't even know Guevara was still in this.
He's still in AEW, apparently. Yeah, so...
Yeah, we didn't even know he was still in AEW. We knew Dustin was, but I mean, Dustin Rhodes is, come on, he's the son of Dusty, so of course he's well known. No one even knew that Guerrero was still.
The last time I saw him, he was the Ring of Honor Tag Champions with Dustin, and that was like months ago. I'm not sure whether they still have those belts or not, but that was like months ago.
Well, yeah, but they said we'll pelt the belts up for the belts, but they can't do that because it's TNA and AEW, and that wouldn't make any sense. But I don't think they're champions, are they? I don't think Dustin is a champion now. Maybe they gave that up. So. Okay. I don't know. I just don't see the Hurt Syndicate, whatever, the bullshit that you see. I don't see them losing.
No, they just got those belts.
As much as Dustin is well known, I don't see them going.
Yeah, they just got those belts anyways, and I don't think Bobby. I don't think
unless they want to be paper champions. I don't think Bobby. But I don't know what
Bobby
Tony
and
thinks.
Shelton are like professional veterans. They're not going to want to do a job that early in their run. So, by the way, MJF has also joined the Hurt Syndicate. They did this whole angle where MJ was trying to get in the Hurt Syndicate, and eventually Bobby let him in. I'm like, really? He's a white guy. This story makes no sense. So he'll be at ringside with them.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's well. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a heel turn there because aren't they the good guys? The Hurt Syndicate.
I don't know. I'm confused.
That nobody knows anymore. Maybe he might turn against him. I don't know. Because wasn't MJF supposed to be like the devil or something?
He's like he went back to his old heel character from years ago, which is now old. You know, it's not like it was cool. It's not cool anymore. It's just old bullshit.
Yep.
All right. So the Hurt Syndicate will keep those belts. The next match, Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa for the women's title. Toni Storm is keeping that belt because they're setting up that big unification match at All In. Oh, by the way, Saturday night's main event is on. The next one is July 11th, and on July 12th is All In. And WWE decided to run an all women's pay-per-view Evolution on the same night, the same time.
And it probably will get better ratings than fucking AEW's.
That's if that happens. AEW Tony has to wrap up shop if that happens. This is supposed to be his WrestleMania, and Evolution, an all women's pay per view is going to outdraw you. No, that's
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I would like to think that, but only Daddy Con can pull that plug.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally has shit ratings as it is, and everyone's like, "Well, you forgot about Max." Yeah. No, I didn't, because nobody knows
Max
what's
doesn't
on
even
Max, know. And you don't either.
Max doesn't even know what's on there. So, all right, right. So
the network doesn't even know who's fucking streaming this shit.
The next match on the card is FTR versus Danny Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness is that commentator who was on Collision, and now he's trying to wrestle again. Sounds familiar what the WWE did recently with Pat McAfee and Gunther, but it's like,
okay, but Pat McAfee is more well known. This other guy, I'm like, who the fuck is that? The only reason why I hear any of these names, guys, is literally because I listen to Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette has to go through it and talk about it. And, this is a toss-up match. I had no fucking.
And Cornette knows Nigel McGuinness because they worked together when he was in Ring of Honor. So it was like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't mean he's a good wrestler. I remember Jim saying, you know, he was the shits. I think
he was the shits at commentary when he first got there. Okay. But Jim's always liked his work, which is why he brought him in to Ring of Honor to do commentary with Kevin Kelly. But let's see. The next match here is a stretcher match between Mark Briscoe and Ricochet.
Oh God. Fucking stretcher match. Come on, guys. Can't we be original?
Well, it's what it says here. I mean, it's a stretcher match. So it's a random match between two guys for no. I mean, because these guys haven't been feuding long. It's not like they've been feuding for months.
Right.
They had like a tag team match against each other, and all of a sudden now they have this blood feud to the point where they have to do a stretcher match at the pay-per-view. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm gonna say anyone but Mark Briscoe, because they seem to be literally running his fucking career into the ground now that Jay passed away. I just don't see anything going for Mark Briscoe. They literally have
Tony Khan is like enamored with Ricochet, even though Ricochet has been crashing out on Twitter and attacking everybody and stuff. And you know,
yeah. I mean, he thinks he is the greatest thing that happened to AEW since sliced bread. I'm like, honey, you ain't getting the ratings.
Because he's been attacking other wrestling content creators. And I'm like, dude, either he's crashing out legitimately and he's having issues, or he's trying to work a gimmick. And I don't know which one it is with him. And if he's trying to work a gimmick, it's shitty. So it's not even good.
Yeah, I was going to say probably both, a little bit of both. He's crashing out and he's like trying to do a legit gimmick. The problem is this is like, WWE would never call this guy back because literally he has gone through the deep end. He thinks he's the shit, and he is the shits. No. His wrestling is the shits. He can't wrestle. That's why. Otherwise, WWE would have kept him for something.
Yeah, they would have done something with. They did everything they could with him.
And he doesn't know how to wrestle, so basically they kicked him to the curb and said, "Okay, sorry."
His role was to be the guy with the cool moves. You know, it's like, "Oh wow, what a flip! He does great flips, and he gets a win every once in a while, but he usually loses." That's his role, and he would have done a good job at that if he didn't get too big for his own head. You know, so
yep. Sometimes, like Goldberg, you believe your own hype and you think you're better than everybody else, and guess what? You're the shits. Really, the shits. And now you're in a place where they prop that up. So maybe he'll be, I don't know, AEW champion after John Moxley is done with
Ricochet is not special in AEW anymore. Everybody does what he does. It's like in WWE, at least he stuck out. He was special because nobody did what he did. WWE usually has a grounded style, and and they actually work a match, and and have pacing and stuff. And not late. To be fair though, they started hiring a lot of these Mexican guys, and they don't do that shit. They don't really sell, so I'm kind of like they just bought AAA. It's a bunch of Mexican guys that don't sell for shit. So it's like
right.
So I don't know
that
Lucha Libre. So I don't even know. Yeah, so I don't even know how they're gonna work that into the WWE style.
I was telling my man last night while we were watching Saturday Night's Main Event, because they were talking about having that Lucha, was it something USA or something, and then they're having Worlds Collide, and then Money in the Bank.
NXT, AAA, and some TNA talent will even be there. So it's like this big show that they're doing. And then Money in the Bank is right after that at 7. So they're having both cards the same day.
Right. And I was telling my man, I was like, the only Lucha Libre I would actually watch was Juventud Guerrera or, Rey Mysterio back in the day, like when we were kids, I mean, I'm talking WCW, like when we were both 11 years old. So I remember Chris Jericho tried to get into there. He actually made Juventud Guerrera take his mask off. He's like, oh, he's so ugly. I'm like, kind of actually hot. What are you talking about, Jericho?
Juventud
are you jealous?
Juventud was good.
He was a good-looking
but
kid.
The problem was everybody hated him because he was impossible to work with. He always wanted to win. Always wanted to go over, and he wouldn't put anybody over. So it's like he's a great talent, but he's a fucking head case. He's a mark for himself. So like,
oh well, it always takes all kinds. I just thought he was a good-looking kid, and that those are the kind of lucha libres I grew up with. And then on the Japanese side, you had the Ultimo Dragon, the Great Muda. I like when he would spit that green stuff out. I just thought that was really cool. I was just like, "Whoa, that's really cool." But I like Ultimo Dragon's combination. Like he would do all kinds of weird moves it was kind of like he branded together wrestling and almost like some kind of martial arts.
Which was pretty cool to watch. I thought. All right. The next match is the Anarchy in the Arena match, which is the AEW's version of War Games. Let's see. We have Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata versus the Death Riders, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks. Wow, that was that 8-on-8? It's 8-on-8 or something.
Oh my god! Even War Games wasn't even that bad. I mean, it was 8 mans, but it was 4-4.
Yeah, this is like 8-on-8.
Now they turned it into this fucking 8-man.
It's gonna
fucking actually that's 16.
Yeah, Omega, Strickland, Nightingale, the Ops. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus the Death Riders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6-on-6. It's 12 guys.
So it's 12 guys, yeah.
Oh, 2 girls. It's 10 guys, 2 girls in there for some reason. They're together. They're working together. At least in WWE, they separate them in WWE.
End, I think.
And here, it's like they just put them all together for no reason.
I don't know. Moxley, I mean, he is what, Dick the Boozer is what they call him.
The four boar man or whatever. The four
horsemen. Yeah, the boar horsemen. Yeah, I mean, because they are literally so fucking boring that every time the Young Bucks come on TV, everybody fucking leaves. All right, I got shit to do. Come on. They turn it off. I don't know. I just because you got Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang in there. And is Osprey in there too, or where's Osprey?
He's wrestling in the men's Owen Hart tournament final. So
Yeah, and he'll win that one.
Yeah, so
that was sarcasm. Okay, so we got Kenny Omega, Samoa Joe may go over. I don't know. I'm thinking probably Moxley will probably want to go over.
Moxley, he has to do a job at some point. He's been the champion for nearly 7 months. He doesn't lose.
Yeah, but I don't see him doing one now. I mean, I'm thinking probably Moxley will go over. The whole Four Horsemen will go over. But I mean, because that's what they think is right, and really Moxley doesn't want to do a job yet. He will eventually. But
Darby Allin not only survived Mount Everest, but he also put an AEW flag on top of Mount Everest as he promised. So he did survive his climb.
Come on, Mount Everest, you were supposed to be on our side.
He did. He survived his climb somehow and put an AEW flag up there. So he'll be back.
You know, WWE
he'll be back soon
that.
to probably take the belt off of Moxley. That's probably what they're waiting for.
Well, you can't go back fast enough because the Boar Horseman and Dick the Boozer are literally getting boring at this point. People are leaving. The last ratings I heard were in the 600,000, 60K or 600K.
Yeah, it's bad.
I bet
it's bad. All right, so the next match listed here real quick, Kazuchika Okada versus Speedball Mike Bailey for the Continental Championship.
You mean international?
Oh, it says Continental here.
Really?
Yeah.
Now they're trying to do what WWE did. Oh, the Intercontinental belt has always been AEW.
Yeah,
like the U.S. title has always been a... No, it hasn't. WWE never had that belt until they bought out WCW. That was a Michael Cole slip.
Yeah, Speedball Mike Bailey. Every time I hear Speedball, it reminds me of a 8-ball cocaine. So
8-ball, yeah.
What was he thinking with that nickname?
He's still eating 8-ball. Has anyone checked him lately?
Okada's going to keep that belt because that's basically his belt at this point. Because they're also setting up for a match between Okada and Omega, something that the AEW faithful would love to see again for the millionth time. Those guys have wrestled each other thousands of times in the last 10 years in Japan, but got to see it here in the US once. They're both old and way past their prime, but
like Shaky Nakamura. I mean, that's what I was thinking on SmackDown. I'm like, oh my God, Shaky Nakamura is in another fucking match. Why don't this guy just retired? He's what, 50, 60?
I think he's like nearly 50, I think he is. He's been in WWE over 10 years, so Okada's going to win. The next match is a trios match or a 6-man tag, as I would call it. The Pargon, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong versus the Don Callis family. Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander.
Oh, our old buddy take shit. Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
goddamn. All right. I don't know. Anyone who's not taking shit, that's who I'm picking. Anyone who's not taking shit.
Yeah, so then that's that, The next match is, I guess, what's going to go last. It's the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Final between Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay. And the winner gets an AEW World Title match at All In.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking probably Ospreay or Ostrich, as Jim Cornette calls him. I just don't see Hangman Adam Page doing it. What is his purpose anyway? Why is he even on TV? Wasn't he hurt? And then he came back?
He went away for like 6 months for personal issues.
Yeah, he went away.
Personal issues.
For personal issues.
Even though it shouldn't take 6 months to solve your personal issues, but whatever.
And he was still on the payroll, yes?
Obviously.
Tony was still sending him a check to get his ass in gear.
I don't think
and that was after the whole Swerve Strickland, right? The whole burning of the house?
The timeline, I think so. Yeah, I think he disappeared before that, I think. He's in the middle of the feud with Swerve, and then he disappeared. And then he came back, and they did the house fire thing. I think that's how it went, if I remember correctly. So he disappeared right in the middle of their big angle, and then he came back, and they picked it up like nothing ever happened. Like, You can't do that.
Right. It was like, why was he gone for so long? And no one can answer the fucking
you
question.
can't do that. You can't just, disappear and come back and.
Oh, you can in AEW. They just will pick it up and act like nothing ever fucking happened. That's exactly what they just did. So this is why you can't take AEW or anyone on that roster seriously.
Yeah, so.
And I didn't get through all of I apologize. I did not get all through Jim Cornette's latest where he goes through the AEW male roster A through J. Apparently, there's a lot of people on the fucking roster, and they have to kind of put it from A to J.
According to, I think,
didn't get to that point yet.
What's his face? Not Jim Cornette. The other one. I forget his name. His co-host. What's his name? Yeah,
Brian Lash.
He said he's counted like 150 wrestlers on that
150 fucking wrestlers
on AEW's roster page.
Their ratings are shit. Their ratings are shit. He
counted approximately like 150 wrestlers are probably on that roster page. So,
and they just went through the women's the other day.
They have to go through the rest of them.
I skipped that part, by the way. I don't give a fuck about the women.
They only went through the first half, which was A to J, and now I think some point next week or something they'll do the rest. But
they'll do the rest. Yeah, there's and to be honest, I only got up to guest the program, where Jim wasn't doing so well. But I digress. I just don't think that Adam Page. He strikes me as someone who wants to go over, but no one is putting him over. So Tony's just like, oh, just do a job for me and let Ostrich just go over. So I don't really expect any fireworks at this point when it comes to fucking,
Ospreay versus. So right now, WWE has Evolution going up against All In this year,
which is an all-female, right? It's an all-female.
Yes, it's going to be an all-female show. So they did one in 2018, which failed miserably because this is just when they did the women's revolution, and Charlotte just came up, and Bayley, and Mercedes, aka Sasha Banks at the time, and they just came up, and they were young. And let's do an all-women's pay-per-view. It was Stephanie's idea. It's like, okay, Vince, okay, it was terrible. Nobody went to the show, nobody watched it, and Vince got pissed and canceled it and never brought it back again. So, and now Triple
H run it up against All In. Is that where it's going?
Yeah, it's going to be the same night as All In. So they're going to do it again, but the same night as All In.
Yeah, but when you have AEW, which is also shit, nobody wants to watch it. I would rather watch an all-women's pay-per-view, even though I'm a woman and hate that shit myself. I would still rather watch that than watch AEW. And
there's more women.
$50.
There's more women's talent now. So in 2018, there's really nobody around. So it's more like like Vince is trying to make Stephanie happy, but ultimately he knew it wasn't going to work. So it's like now at least there's more women talent in WWE, which you can put together a card at least. Will it be good? I don't know, but at least you can put together a decent card with the women's on the roster.
And it would be even more decent than All In,
Yeah, so that's All In. That's Double or Nothing. We'll see what happens.
Starts in an hour, right? 8:00.
Yeah, about half an hour.
Who's not gonna watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Me.
It's like $50, and it's outrageous.
Yeah, who the fuck's got that kind of money to watch shitty wrestling?
So, let's see. Oh no, I'm wrong. Hold on a second. July 12th is a Saturday. That's a Saturday night's main event they're holding on the same night as All In. It's not the women's pay-per-view.
All In is doomed, man.
Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I was just reading it here.
I'm telling you now. Hear me now. Quote me later. All In is doomed because Saturday night's main event is the coup de grace. I mean, last night was so awesome.
It was good.
I don't even know how to describe it to you. I mean, people are going to be watching that instead of shitty All In One or All In. Sorry, not All In One. All In.
Yeah. So it's July 12th is a Saturday. It's Saturday night. It's the 40th Saturday night's main event, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Saturday night's main event XL, which is the 40th event they're holding. So that means WWE is going to stack the shit out of that card.
Oh yeah, they're going to stack the cards. And again, AEW, I would be surprised if AEW gets like $100K.
Right now, This is the dirt sheets, and take this with a grain of salt. But the next Saturday night's main event takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, and we all know it's Goldberg's from Atlanta.
And Cody
So
Rhodes.
yeah, so you might see Goldberg's retirement match here in Atlanta.
And hell, you'll see Cody Rhodes if anything else.
Yeah, you'll see Cody there too, so he'll definitely be on the card. So
yeah, they're gonna stack the shit out of this card because they want to defeat AEW, and they're going to.
Whether I like
you
it,
might as well just throw in the towel there, Tony Khan, because no, it ain't happening.
Yeah, whether I like it or not, Goldberg is a mainstream star, and WWE is going to want to use him on that card, especially if they stack it up against All In. So
he hurt Kurt in one of their matches, so fuck him. Not the
no matter how much I dislike Goldberg, but they're definitely going to, if he's going to have a retirement match, that's the perfect place, to have it. So yeah, I'm just letting you know. Saturday night's main event the same night as All In. And of course, the AEW faithful are melting down over that because WWE purposely booked the show against All In. Yes. And of course, WWE is like, well, it's not we didn't do that. It was NBC. And it's like, come on, who believes that?
It's okay.
It was NBC's idea.
It was NBC. It might have been, that's true. It may have been NBC's idea. However, it's not like you had to, tie their arms behind their back and force them, But again, guys, WWE is making hand over fist money. Their ratings are through the roof. And here's AEW and Island onto themselves, and they can't get shit. And they're not going to. I would like to see, honestly, if Evolution can have better ratings than fucking AEW, trust me, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you're right. Tony Khan should just fold, but he won't.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to be stuck with this stupid bullshit for a couple more years until someone gets their head out of their ass and finally realizes, oh, by the way, nobody fucking wants us to watch your stupid fucking Circus du Soleil performers. And you call it wrestling.
Yeah. Well, let's get to Saturday night's main event finally. The one that took place last night, I mean. So apparently there was a pre-show match that I didn't even know about, didn't even see. So it's a tag team match. American Made defeated Latino World Order in 7 minutes. Like, okay, they must have had a match for the audience there because I didn't see it.
Yeah. So, that must have been part of the house show. But I thought that they were going to do less of those. Yeah, a dark match. Well, not less dark matches, less house.
Yeah, they've done a lot less live events. And honestly, you can tell with some of these talent. And I'll get to that in a minute, but all right, the first match listed, the opening match, was the tag team match. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman defeating CM Punk and Sami Zayn by pinfall in 13 minutes and 10 seconds.
And that was because of, do we really want to say this? It is what it is, but they have Bronson Reed came back. Hello, Bronson Reed. I thought that was Roman Reigns until he tackled CM Punk. I was like, who the fuck is that? Oh shit, it's Bronson Reed.
That's the thing. I didn't know who it was because the way they filmed it was terrible. Because
Paul Heyman like, who the fuck is that? Who just came out of the crowd?
They're filming Paul Heyman distracting the ref, and somebody comes from the big guy comes from the other side of the audience and starts running towards over there. Like, who's the big guy? Like, what?
Yeah, why honestly, I thought it was Roman Reigns attacking. Yeah. I thought he was going to attack Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker.
Yeah, they filmed it. They filmed it terribly. I don't know why they did that way because I didn't know who it was until Michael Cole said, "Oh my God, it's Bronson Reed! He's back!" And I'm like, "What? And where is he?"
Oh, wait, like, huh? Bronson Reed? I thought that was Roman Reigns. Damn it!
And they never
attacked CM Punk though.
They never filmed him until after the match was over. We didn't even see we saw somebody running through CM Punk, and then they went back to the ring to do the finish. We didn't see his face until
after that.
Yeah, we didn't see him until after the match was over, and they finally filmed him. I'm like, why? Like,
I was asking you on X in the DM. I was like, where was he? Where has he been for the past couple of months? And you're like, oh, he was hurt. I was like,
he was hurt
son
in
of a
War
bitch.
Games.
Yeah,
he got hurt at
War Games
because he decided to jump off the top of the cage and go.
Like
I think
Jimmy
he put Roman Reigns through the table, and his foot got caught underneath the table and broke his foot.
Ew.
So that's why he's been out, and now his foot is healthy enough to come back. And now he joined with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, and they have this big stable.
I'm hoping this brings in Roman Reigns. So now we have Reigns, Punk, and Zayn against Reed, Breaker, and Rollins.
Yeah, and Money in the Bank, most likely they'll do something like that, because at this point, it's three heels against two baby faces. They need another one, so Roman Reigns is the obvious choice for that. But yeah, the match itself was good, and Braun Breaker really showed off here in this match. His athleticism.
Oh, I love Braun Breaker. I didn't know who to cheer for. I'm like, come on, CM Punk, come on, Braun Breaker. I didn't really know who to cheer for, so I was just kind of cheering for everybody all at once, except for Rollins. I hate that dude. Fuck you, Seth Rollins.
Getting to the match itself, I mean, Braun Breaker really showed off his athleticism here, and that spot where he jumped off the apron and landed on him on the table.
Ooh, I was just like, oh, why are we doing this?
Like, he did that same spot on Raw against who did he wrestle on Raw? I forget, but Jey Uso. He did Jey Uso. Yeah.
In a non-title match, of course.
Yeah, because there was a non-finish. Remember correctly, it was disqualified. It was thrown out, but he wasn't gonna. They were gonna beat Braun Breaker, but so
yeah, but they want him to go over because he's such a beast and he's such an athlete, unlike his dad. And this is no disrespect to Rick Steiner. I just didn't see the athlete as much as we did see in Scott Steiner. Braun Breaker is more like his uncle Scott Steiner, who was more athletic and could do all those kinds of moves more than Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner on his own wasn't really good. That's why they kind of put him with Scott and said, "Hey, Scott, can you kind of do this with your brother?"
Rick started his career first,
yes.
And because Scott said, I remember I saw an interview recently with Scott. Is like, well, Rick started his career. I was still in the University of Michigan. Mm-hmm. And he was still great. He was still doing amateur wrestling. So Rick started his career first, and he really wasn't getting anywhere. So when Scott graduated, and that's when he broke into the wrestling business, and they became a tag team, and they blew up. Then when they came to Steiner Brothers,
right?
So
yeah, I mean, Braun Breaker this kid is so. We have so much more to see from him, and the way Jim Cornette was talking, I mean, talking him up, like putting him over, basically. We like to see him. He's a real athlete. He is second generation. It's like, it's so good to see him and his athletic prowess.
Did you see the match? Did you watch that match on Raw between him and Jey Uso?
Yes.
It seemed like Braun Breaker was carrying Jey Uso to that match. And he barely got into the business. Yeah, he was. He barely got into the business. He's already carrying the world champion, by the way, in a match. Because I seen him multiple times, like, doing this and talking to the refs. Like, he's calling out spots to the ref, and the ref is talking to Jey, and it's like, is Braun Breaker calling this match? He's like 28. Jey Uso's the world champion. What's going on here?
Well, and unfortunately, Jey is also second generation, as Rikishi is his father. Yeah. But I mean, as a second generation, the person I like, Kurt Hennig, was second generation, but he knew the business. It's almost like Jey and Jimmy were kept away from the business.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, Jey is just not good. I mean, if you put him with somebody who could wrestle, he's fine. He's able to
Braun Breaker. Made him look like $1 billion. I'm telling you. But
if you put him with somebody who kind of works like him and has like that similar like non-style, like Jimmy, his brother, then it's going to be terrible. So it's like, oh my! And they had no choice but the world title on him because they had no choice. They booked themselves in the corner and it had to happen, but. They gotta get that belt off him.
Jey, his star apparatus went up, but Jimmy's kind of stayed the same or went down. They don't do the same thing for Jimmy, and I think Jimmy and him were in at the same time.
Yeah,
Were
they were
they in
tag.
wrestling at the same time?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they
see,
broke
they
in
were
together
tag
as a
team
tag team.
champs, but I mean, you don't see Jimmy becoming
But
beating John Cena,
there's always two guys in a tag team. There's usually the Shawn Michaels, and there's always going to be the Marty Jannetty. Unfortunately, Jimmy Uso is probably the Marty Jannetty of his tag team.
right? Where Marty just kind of went, "Boo,"
Yeah,
you know,
and yeah,
and
the
Shawn
Steiner
went like
brothers.
this.
The Steiner brothers. Scott became the single star, and Rick Trier kind of just fizzled off after Scott separated from him
That's right, yeah.
in
Um,
WCW.
in
So,
WCW, right?
oh, one more thing I wanted to mention before we move on. Both CM Punk and Sami Zayn wore the Palestinian flag colors on their tights.
Yes,
So,
I'm so proud of my
yeah.
boys. I CM Punk is so growing on me, and this is why I love this man.
Mhm.
Because I love him even more now. Free Palestine. As long as we can still say that, free Palestine. Hopefully, we don't get taken off of
and
YouTube. But
and you kind of asked me whether they're going to get heat for that. It's like I don't
they
know. I
may
mean,
they
it
may get heat
depends
for it.
of
We may
depends
all get
of
heat for it for even talking about it on X or showing
uh,
pictures or saying that we love them or whatever, or for the free Palestine. I would not be surprised if all this X stuff was so they could change the algorithm. I know a lot of people were saying
yeah.
that the other day. They probably are changing the algorithm, guys, and we need to get this in while we can before we get all of our accounts taken down because of this false flag bullshit. Which, like I said, it smells like a psyop. It probably was a psyop. It more than likely was. As Snow says, we need better psyops. So this was literally to squash free speech, of course, and then squash the Free Palestine movement and activists. Don't let them do this. Please don't let them do this, guys. But anyway, this is what
Yeah.
I was trying to tell people in the indie chat that, I mean, wrestling and politics are not that far away from each other. And this proves it because Sami Zayn is a Palestinian, is he not? He's a Palestinian
He's
descent.
yeah, he's Syrian. He's
Yeah.
Syrian descent.
Okay.
So
So he
he's
is
an
of
Arab.
Arab descent.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's of Arab descent.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was wearing the colors, I think he and so was CM Punk. Someone allowed it. I don't know who
Mm-hmm.
allowed it. I hope they don't get heat for it, but someone had to okay that. They didn't just go out there willy-nilly and rogue and oh shit. Or they would have blurred everything or they wouldn't have let that match go on.
Mm-hmm.
So someone from the chain of command said, okay, fine, but if we get any blowback, it's your fault.
That's I think it was covered up well enough where you couldn't really tell. It wasn't an obvious
Apparently some people
Palestinian flag.
could.
Yeah, I mean you could see the colors and it's exactly the same colors, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it was covered up enough where it's like it's a design in their tights, whatever. But yeah, let's see. I mean right now the only way that they can get in trouble with the Jewish organizations like the ADL bring heat on
Or
TKO.
Yep.
Or APAC bring heat on TKO and
If they
pressure
put
them
pressure on
into
TKO, then unfortunately,
they'll
boys.
definitely fold. Especially since the executives are all Jewish. Let's see. Mark Shapiro is Jewish, I think. Who's the CEO? Why am I forgetting his name?
Dana
Ari Emanuel. Ari Emanuel,
Emanuel,
definitely. Yeah, he's definitely Jewish. So I don't know how they got away with this, especially with the leadership being Jewish, unless they don't really give a shit. But
I hope they don't give a shit, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure whoever okayed it probably said, all right, boys, but it's your asses if we get heat. I wouldn't be surprised if they put the hammer back. I hope they don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if they brought the hammer down on CM Punk and Sami Zayn. And Zayn would be like, look, I am Arab. So you want me to not talk about something that's affecting me and my family and my life? No, go fuck yourself. I'm going to do it anyway.
So, by the way, this match would be the longest match of the night.
And it was one of the best, I thought.
Yeah,
it kind of like lingered in there, but I mean, the in the middle was kind of mushy, but all in all, I wanted CM Punk to win. Braun Breaker won instead. Fine, whatever.
Braun Breaker got the fall of Sami Zayn, so
so I think they're setting up for Roman Reigns, CM Punk,
tag.
Yep, and Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and of course
Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman in their corner. Yeah.
So
The next match, I feel bad for these women, but they've got placed in an impossible situation after that hot start. Zelina Vega defeating Chelsea Green for the women's U.S. title
I
in
didn't even
5 minutes.
I didn't even really pay attention to it.
The only thing I saw towards the end is Zelina Vega botching her 619 and just kicking Chelsea in the face and breaking.
Yeah, and did you see her nose was completely busted
just
open?
Shattered her nose. Yeah. So I'm like, this is why I'm concerned about the lack of house shows or very few house shows, because that's where you get in your practice every night, so you're sharp.
Yeah,
a lot of these girls, especially the girls, they're not sharp. You see so many mistakes, and even some of the guys, it's like, yeah, they got way too much time off.
Yeah, I mean, this is why not only did you get exposure to just house shows and in-house audiences, but like, yeah, you could practice your craft every night in front of an audience and see what works and what doesn't. This isn't working, guys. I hardly paid attention to this match because I don't give two fucks about women fighting each other and breaking each other's nose.
They don't have the daily house show anymore.
Right.
I mean, they do like house show tours right before WrestleMania and before SummerSlam and at the end of the year, the Christmas tour they call it, but they don't run every day anymore. I mean, they only run the TVs, the pay-per-views, and that's it for most of the year. So it's and a lot of these guys need the daily working experience. They're still pretty green.
And the gals. I mean, like I said, that match was complete shit. I didn't even really pay attention to it. I was doing something else. I forgot what I was doing. I think I was trying to talk to you. I'm just like, All right. I know. I was talking about Jesse Ventura and how great it was. Good to see the governor, Jesse Ventura. Woo!
Yeah. All right. The next match, John Cena pinning R-Truth in 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
I mean, this was shit. I didn't even really pay attention to it much, and I was like,
John Cena, like, it was basically R-Truth coming out with Cena's music and pretending he was like the babyface Cena.
Right.
They had John Cena at the beginning of the match ripping off R-Truth's shirts and his hat and throwing it into the audience like, I'm the only John Cena here. And they had their match. Cena did his moveset, and then R-Truth stole his moveset, did it. Then eventually, towards the finish, John Cena grabbed the belt and wanted to hit R-Truth with it. Then he stopped himself and was like, should I do it? Then he gave it back to the referee. When the referees turned around, of course, he kicked him in the nuts and hit his finish 1, 2, 3, and they got out of there. That was all it was.
I liked R-Truth's little tidbit on SmackDown. He was like, I'm going to take you, John Cena, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to beat the meanness out of you.
Loyalty and respect back into you.
Back into you. Yeah.
I like the promo, but the match.
I like the promo, but the match itself was just shit.
So
stop trying to be like a good version of John Cena. Wherever that went, it's dead now.
Yeah, you knew that John Cena was going to win that match, and it was 4 minutes and 25 seconds. So
I just didn't think they were going to, hand the belt over to R-Truth.
It was a non-title match, anyways. But
right.
So that was that. The next match is the one that Jesse called with Michael Cole and
what the hell? Why can't Jesse just do the whole thing like he used to? I know he's a little older, but I mean Jesse still got it.
I think they're assuming. I think they don't want to overexpose him, and because he doesn't know what's going on in the show too much, so they're giving him one match. Like, here, this is what's going on. This is the story, and this is what's going on. Who's the heel? Who's the baby face? I don't think Jesse's paying attention to all these shows.
Well, I mean, and that's because modern wrestling was not the wrestling he grew up with. Yeah. It's not the wrestling we grew up with. A lot of this modern wrestling is shit, to be honest. But what I like was Jesse accidentally talked over Lillian Garcia. He's like, "Oops." You can hear him laughing in the background. But I don't think they cut his mic, but he was talking over Lillian.
No, they didn't. He just talked over Lillian, most of Lillian's announcement, and is like, "Oh."
He's like, "Oops, I forgot. I'm not supposed to talk right now."
Yeah, usually I'm not sure. Somebody didn't give him a cue because usually the commentators get a cue when they are allowed to talk again. and nobody said anything to him, so he just kept talking. So that was the beginning. The cage match itself was fine, I guess. I mean, it wasn't Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I was like telling my man that it's similar, but it's not the same because I said I was asking you, I'm like, when did they put a fucking referee in a cage match where you had to go over the cage to actually win? This is not these cage matches now are not Stone Cold versus McMahon in a steel cage where Austin actually had to go up. Well, the ring gave way, but he still was going to go up and over the cage, right? And then he was going to go through the door. But the cage gave way and he got out anyway. But when did they start doing that? Because the only time I remember them having a referee in a cage match was Hogan and Piper in '97. And I'm like, what the hell's a referee doing in there?
Yeah, I think that was a Vince thing 10 years ago when they started allowing pinfalls in cage matches. So, and that's why a referee's been in there ever since. But yeah, I mean, this match was fine. Jesse's commentary really made it better because he obviously sided with the heel, which is Drew McIntyre here, and I think people really misunderstand what a heel commentator is supposed to be because nobody does it anymore. No. Pat McAfee's not really a heel commentator, a heel color guy, and Wade Barrett kind of does it, but not really.
He kind of does it, but I mean, because the thing is, when Pat McAfee, he kind of does it, but only when what is that, Grande Americano comes out, and Michael Cole's like, it's just Chad Gable, and he's like, no, it's not. It's a Grande Americano. Yeah. I'm like, shut up! Everybody knows it's fucking Chad Gable. Jesus fucking Christ! Stop with the stupid. Oh, we should keep kayfabe now. Now we should keep kayfabe after we've done fucking 20, 30 years of hey, let's not do kayfabe anymore.
Yeah.
It kind of started throughout the years of when Vince was still there. So, I didn't like Damian Priest winning this. I mean, I get it. Drew won 2 out of the 3, but I mean, still, I just think Drew should have sweeped it. That was my thought. I don't like. I almost want to call him Judas Priest. Damian Priest. I never liked Damian Priest. I don't like how he wrestles. He took all that stuff. He took the Razor's Edge, and the South of Heaven is just a choke slam that he took from the Undertaker. He walks on the ropes like the Undertaker because that was his guy. Yeah. Razor Ramon was the other one. Okay, I get it. But what I don't get is the fact that Damian Priest, I mean, for fuck's sake, he should not have been champion as long as he was because he botched that, 3 count where he never kicked out. The ref helped him. And if Vince was still there, he would not be champion because the Vince would have said, just count the 3, motherfucker. And that's what would have happened.
A month earlier. But yeah, I mean, and then at the end of the match there, he walks out of the cage and Jesse chimes in. Oh, why did he? He's such a cowardly move. He walked out of the cage. He went off on like a.
Well, and then of course you had Marks on X. Marks oh well, Jesse said Bossman should just go out of the ring. Just walk out of the door.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Somebody actually took the time to find the clip from 88, whatever it was.
Yeah,
with Bossman and Hogan. And he's like, oh, Bossman should walk out of the cage. And then he's like, oh, what? Why would you? Actually, he's a hypocrite or whatever they were saying. I'm like, yeah, he's a heel commentator.
He's just
Bossman was the heel.
Idiot.
Boston was the heel, so he's siding with Bossman. He's like, he should just walk out the door and win the match and win the title, So, now Damian Priest a babyface, so he's like, oh, why did he walk out? He's such a coward. They're just marks.
Such a coward, right? And that, I guess that goes back to the old school where marks today don't know anything about what used to happen in 88. In 88, guys, there was this thing called kayfabe, and Jesse was a heel commentator, something that Jesse talks about in his book, which I am listening to on audible.com. It's Don't Start the Revolution Without Me.
Yeah.
He states in there that, I mean, that had never been done before.
No.
Vince came to him and said, hey, become a heel commentator because we've never had that before.
Wrestling's never had that. And Vince
Wrestling never had that before.
Because Jesse had just retired because he had blood clots in his lungs. Yep. So he couldn't really wrestle anymore.
His last match was with Tony Atlas.
Yeah, Vince thought, like, Jesse has a great, he's a great promo. He can talk. I need to use him somehow. And he's like, wrestling never had a heel commentator that sides with the heels.
Yep.
And he came to Jesse with the idea. It's like, oh, I could definitely do that. He loved the idea. And that's, he became the first heel commentator in wrestling, pretty much. So,
and I guess that's where I don't get the point of where, like a Mark would do that. Okay, he's a heel commentator talking, he would always side with the heels and then, criticize the baby faces. So this Mark taking that's time you wasted that no one's going to give a fuck about because this is not real. Wrestling is not real. We all know that wrestling is a storyline. It's all fake. And that's because of probably Vince throughout the years. Like I said, all of a sudden now they want to keep kayfabe after all these fucking years of trying to say, oh, guys, this is just fake. It's all just bullshit. You spent 30 years telling everybody that this was all bullshit and not real. And now all of a sudden you want to go, oh, it's real. Stop.
Well, yeah, so that made no sense. I mean, that would, and everybody's criticizing Jesse for
2 hours of your life looking for that boss man thing.
It's like
wasted hours of your life.
Everybody is like, oh, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole did a brilliant job of ignoring Jesse because he went off for no reason on Damian Priest. I'm like, you misunderstood what was going on. They didn't.
Yeah, you totally missed it, man. You missed the forest for the trees, and I take that back to now. There is maybe one, and like I said, Wade Barrett. I don't think he does the heel commentating as well as Jesse did. None of them do. And there's no heel commentators anymore. And now Jesse comes in, starts ranting on the babyface. Everyone's like, my God, what? Can you believe he's just said that?
You can't do it. Like, nobody. Like, that's not done in wrestling anymore.
Yeah, what the fuck?
In general. It's not even just WWE. AEW doesn't do it. I mean, there's no heel commentator over there either.
Right.
Like, nobody does it. I mean, and it makes the match so much better because you get pissed off, like, Jesse,
this generation
runs down the baby face, and
because they don't know the Saturday Night's Main Event. They may know the one from 2007, but I don't think Jesse was on that one.
No.
But he was on the one in 86 and through 86 to 1991 too?
Yeah, the original run was until 92.
Yeah, the original run had Jesse Ventura. I know because I watched it. So if you're going to be a mark, at least be a mark on the right way.
The return, they brought it back from 2006, 2009, something like that. And Jesse was not there because him and Vince were still on the outs.
Right.
And hell, they're still on the outs. But the only reason why he's back because Vince is not there anymore.
Yeah, Vince ain't there no more. And see, that's the thing. If you're going to be a mark right. Go do your research. Do the research first. And then go, oh, that's why they had Jesse on. Because NBC wouldn't even give McMahon the contract unless Jesse Ventura was doing it.
So
but then McMahon had realized, oh my God, wait, we don't have a heel commentator. We need a heel commentator. And that was Jerry Lawler for the Attitude people like you and me.
Yeah,
that was Jerry Lawler for a while.
And Lawler was good at it too. So
he was really good. Him and JR would bounce each other, all the time. Bobby the Brain Heenan was another one. And Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla Monsoon was the face, and Bobby Heenan was the heel
eventually, and then eventually Kurt would do it, and he'd do a good job at it too. Kurt and Vince.
My God.
Kurt and Vince on Superstars, so he was good at it too.
Kurt was so good at a heel commentator. There is one time on X I saw where he actually flips the pencil up and misses, and then just goes like that and hits it away. I was like,
I meant to do that.
I don't want that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even Mr. Perfect was a heel commentator at one point. He was on Primetime. He was on Superstars. him and Bobby Heenan would bounce each other, ideas off each other. And then, of course, Vince, and usually it was Hillbilly Jim, or it was Jim Duggan was on. Eventually, Savage would be on too.
Yeah, Vince
Piper also would be on there with Kurt and Bobby Heenan and Vince.
Vince transitioned Savage into commentary full time.
Well, and when Kurt turned babyface in 92 and 93, I mean, that would eventually, he would have to come off, and then Lawler went on in his stead. Jerry Lawler would come on and be the, instead of Mr. Perfect, it would be the.
He took off and.
Yeah.
So it was,
then,
it was Vince, Lawler, and JR until Vince left commentary in 97. But Raw the pay-per-views would be Vince, Jim Ross, and Lawler.
Yeah.
And even JR was like frustrated. Like, when is this old man going to leave commentary? Because he wanted to be the lead commentator. That's what he was hired for. But Vince kept doing the commentary for years after he was hired. So it was like,
right. So he didn't want to let go of the reins, and then finally he did, because he had to.
97. By then he did the Brett screwed Brett thing, and he had to leave at that point.
By that point, 97, he did the Montreal screw job,
and he had to leave, and he was the heel character at that point.
Right. So. Then he would eventually do the Austin versus McMahon feud, and like I said, that's why I'm kind of like, why the hell is there a referee? And because there wasn't a referee for Austin and McMahon, I know that much.
No, the referee thing it's a recent thing. I think in the last 10 years, really, when Vince decided to allow pinfalls in the steel cage.
All right,
that was
fair enough. But I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is this?
To be fair, WCW did it in the 90s too. They put a referee in the cage.
Like I said, that steel cage with Hogan and Piper, there was a referee in there, and. They were talking up Piper. They were talking up about, that he had been in Alcatraz. I went, I don't think he stayed in Alcatraz.
They filmed vignettes.
First of all, where the hell did he sleep? Where did he pee? I mean, Alcatraz is shut down. Not that, they want to bring it back. And I saw on X, they want like a couple billion for that. I'm like,
Trump
don't even waste time. Besides, you'd have to bulldoze everything.
Yeah, you would have to bulldoze and rebuild a new prison there.
And let me just say, as a Wiccan and as a witch, Alcatraz is very haunted. You would piss off all those spirits anyway, so don't bark up the wrong tree. Just don't do it.
I don't think nothing's going to happen with that. It's just
that's probably Trump trolling.
It's a meaningless executive order. Like, I want to bring back Alcatraz. Like, tell me how I can do it, and then it'll just go away. People forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when Trump was saying, "Oh, I'm going to have a third term," that was just him trolling. He can't have a third term.
Yeah.
Right. So, but anyway, I said to my man, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if in this steel cage match, if we actually saw someone bring out a toolbox and swamp or hit McIntyre over the head like he had stitches that one time, right? He had stitches like
that was the Hell in a Cell against Punk, the blow off.
Right. And he just goes, well, why would they do that again? I'm like, baby. Why did they do anything 2 or 3 times? They do tables table spot every fucking match.
The first thing I noticed is I think it was McIntyre bringing 2 chairs into the steel cage. Yep. Like, oh, come on. The match,
was it that they're screaming, we want tables? I'm like, no, we don't want tables.
They didn't do any table spots, but they did bring in 2 chairs into the ring, and it played into the finish when Damian Priest hit that concerto over his head. Yeah, and then walked out. And I'm like, when he's walking out, I'm like, is he gonna go back and then McIntyre's gonna beat him like an idiot? No, he didn't go back. He just left the cage. He looked back and then he sat.
He looked back and I thought, oh, that's exactly what Austin did in the Austin McMahon thing when McMahon's going like this, or he's just like this, blood's coming down his face, and McMahon's like this, and Austin's like, that's for me. You can't have the last bird. So he goes in, beats up Vince again, but then Paul White comes through the ring there, and you can see, if you look very carefully, you can see the knife going up so that Paul can like go right through it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. someone forgot to take out the knife part.
Yeah, so when they filmed it, they must,
Oops.
I mean, when they must have filmed it when they shouldn't have. But yeah,
Right.
I
It was
mean,
like, oopsie.
that's
I
that
was like,
match. It was fine for what it was, but Jesse's commentary made it better, and
oh, it
then
made it so much better. I was just like, Jesse, we love you. Please don't go away anymore.
I'm surprised he didn't appear at WrestleMania. I thought he would, but they didn't use him at all for WrestleMania this year.
Well, and that's a shame because I mean, Jesse just brings so much nuance
Yeah,
to you're taking the new generation and the old generation and you're combining them. Because remember, Jesse was the old generation. Not that I'm
yeah,
not calling Jesse old. I'm just saying, I mean, he is old, but I mean, you're taking two things and pushing them together. And then I think the new fans don't appreciate Jesse as much as we do because we knew Jesse Ventura as a commentator, as a heel commentator, back in 1990. If you watched, hey, stop that. If you if you watch WCW, he was a commentator and he was a heel commentator in WCW with Jim Ross. And Jim Ross has admitted that he actually didn't like Jesse. He tried to get Jesse fired, and eventually he did. So
yeah. Apparently, the story with that, Bischoff claims that they were taping a Saturday night and they couldn't find Jesse, so they eventually found him in another part of center stage sleeping.
Oh man.
And they broke him up, and Bischoff's like, they woke him up. He did the show, but Bischoff's like, I'm gonna fire Jesse. I mean, we can't do this. And I'm sure JR was in his head, burying Jesse as he admitted to. So, and it's like, okay, let's just get rid of him because Bischoff wasn't in charge then, but he was part of the staff. So he wasn't really I don't think, was he the president? When did he become president? 94?
I thought it was 93. It was right after Jim Herd.
Yeah, it must have been him. I mean, he said he fired Jesse. So was JR there? I think JR went to WWF by then, wasn't
he? He was back and forth between WWF and WCW, but
yeah,
because JR would do WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, he'd be gone.
But he was gone by then, and that was 93.
Yes, I don't think he was there. I'm sure Jesse came in before that. In
92, yeah, because a lot of we've been watching a lot of Rick Rude matches on my show. Nobody beats Kurt Hennig. Nobody. Check that out. Episode 88 is about to come out in about another hour. Actually less than an hour. So check that out. Links are in the description field. But yeah, like when I watched a lot of the Rick Rude matches in 92 and 93, and Jesse was there. He was the commentator there. Because I hear him and I go, Jesse!
JR debuted in WWF at WrestleMania 9, right. And Jesse was still in WCW until like early 94 when Bischoff finally fired him. But JR was gone. So I'm sure JR buried Jesse to Jim Herd, but he wasn't, he wasn't fired. So Bischoff finally fired him when he allegedly found him sleeping outside of center stage before a taping. So, and then that's when he finally fired him, So I'm not sure if Jesse would dispute that, but, we really got off track here. We got to get to the main event here. Jey Uso.
We still have lots of time. It's only 8:15.
Yeah. I mean,
quarter after 8. So
yeah. So I'm not making it. I'm just saying. Wow, we really got off track. So let's get to this main event. Jey Uso, the champion, World Heavyweight Championship match. Jey Uso defeated Logan Paul. So Logan Paul didn't become the champion. So
well, and I'm glad of that, or I would have literally, I would not have watched Raw. I would have boycotted. But here's what I thought, and you were right. That backstage promo,
I forgot the backstage promo.
Set that up for the return of, and I'll get there in a second, but return of someone. I'm not going to say who, but for those who saw it, you already know who it is.
Yeah, basically, Jey Uso was backstage, and Cena was there, and he's like,
right. Cena said, "I'm going to bury your family."
The gist of it was, you're the world champion. You come from a legendary family. If you lose the world title to a YouTuber, that would be a disgrace to your family, isn't it? Oh, that would ruin pro wrestling, wouldn't it? I'll be
Right.
watching closely, buddy. And he like kind of walked away. So like teasing that he was going to interfere in the match.
Interfere, right, and
Yeah.
help Logan Paul. But as the match got going, and I can't really say I was really into it. I was more just come on, beat fucking Logan Paul and hit that motherfucker. I was more into it. Just Jay, just get in there, beat his ass, and just go home, right? But then you see Cena come out, and I'm like, oh no. And then I said to you, I said, oh, if Cody Rhodes comes back, I will fucking flip. And Cody Rhodes came back, and I was like,
Cody! Yeah, I knew once I saw that, I was like, okay, because Cody already was in the Tampa area. He was in Florida anyways, because he was.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he opened the there was an opening in Universal Studios, some ride, and he was there to promote it. So
yeah, I saw him with a picture of him and his wife, and then his daughter was all riding it, I guess.
Yeah, they were there to promote that, and
someone said, "Oh, he's an all-American guy or something." Or
yeah,
American
he was there in the Tampa area, so it was like, okay, so Cody's gonna return, and he's gonna save Jey Uso from John Cena, which is exactly what he showed up. The fans went nuts. He beat up Cena a little bit. No, was the match thrown out? No, the match wasn't thrown out. No. Cody hit the crossroads.
On Cena.
They all rolled out of the ring, and Jay hit his finish on Logan and beat him 1, 2, 3. So they actually beat Logan Paul, which is surprising. Even though they protected him, there was chaos and stuff, but they still beat him 1, 2, 3.
Well, they were trying to beat Jey Uso, but not cleanly. And that was the only way to protect him. But then I was telling you, I was like, Cody Rhodes needs to come back. He needs to come back now. And as soon as I say that, boom, his music hits. I'm like, oh my God, it's Cody! I was like so happy. Like, yeah, he's jumping up and down. I like Cody Rhodes, guys. He's really grown on me. He's just like his dad. Very charismatic. I don't know what everyone else thinks about his promos, but Cody Rhodes' promos have gotten so much better, I thought. And I mean, he's just like his dad. He can really talk you into it. And they have really, like with the Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns coming back, they're milking it. Well, they were doing the same thing with Cody. They were milking it. And now Cody comes back. And of course, announces for Money in the Bank that it's going to be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul.
So it's a tag team match.
Yes.
They set up, which Triple H made official on Twitter earlier today. Said the match is happening at Money in the Bank, and they had the graphic for it already. So the tag team match is happening at Money in the Bank. So you have that match, and you also, I'm assuming, going to have that 6-man tag between Seth Rollins and his team versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and
they'll need someone to fill that up. So like I said, I
tag.
thought Bronson Reed was Roman Reigns because again they were milking it. I mean, where's Roman Reigns? Is he going to step in and get revenge on Paul Heyman? Because again, it was Paul Heyman that not only screwed CM Punk, but he screwed Roman Reigns as well. So this is going to be interesting. But I hope Roman Reigns comes back soon. And of course, I also listened to, Jim Cornette. They were talking about Solo Sikoa and the booking. Apparently, Uncle Dave and Brian Alvarez were fighting amongst themselves about it. Look, whatever is happening between Solo and Jacob Fatu, eventually they will split them. Jacob doesn't need that bloodline.
No. He's grown, and he's going to be one of the top guys in WWE for years to come. Yeah. And he doesn't need Solo around anymore. I'm not sure what's going to – he already has JC Romero, that guy, that just debuted. Mateo, yeah, that's him. Okay. So he can probably have him and, have him be his lackey, but Jacob is going to leave him sooner rather than later, so they'll have a match.
I don't see Solo being championship material. And I'm not trying to say that meanly. I'm just saying in a reality kind of thing. Guys, I know Solo is second generation as much as Jimmy and Jay are. Because he's what, the youngest son or the oldest son of Rikishi?
Solo is the youngest.
He's the
Yeah, the
youngest. Okay.
Usos are the oldest.
Okay, the Usos
Yeah.
are the okay. So Jay and Jimmy are older than Solo. So Solo still has time. I mean, how old is Solo? Anyone know? 30s?
Don't know. Hold on.
20, like late 20s, early 30s. So he's got lots of time, guys, to develop it. I just don't know if he's going to get to that level of like Roman Reigns or
32.
CM Punk or Jey Uso. He's 32. Okay. How old is Jey Uso? Jay and Jimmy.
The Usos are 38, I think. Hold on. 39. Actually, they're 39.
When is their birthday?
It says August 22nd, 1985.
Oh, okay, they're older than me. I was gonna say, how are they older than, or how am I older than
it's
that?
August 22nd, 1985. So yeah, they're 39.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be 40 this year.
Yeah, in August. Then. Yeah. No.
So, I mean, they're like what, 1 year older than both of us. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. Whereas Solo was actually born in like
it says 93. Yeah. So
93. Okay, so we were already 6 by the time Solo Sikoa came around. Yeah. So I get where they're kind of saying, but again, the booking for Solo, I just don't think he's at that level. So the booking for him makes sense because, I mean, they're protecting him, yes, but I just don't see him going to that championship where Jay did. Jay. I don't even see Jimmy going there, even though they use Jimmy as kind of like an extra in a movie almost. With that LA Knight and the Money in the Bank qualifier, they had LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and
Shinsuke Nakamura. That's who LA Knight beat.
Yeah, Shaky Nakamura. Yeah. Because I was gonna say, I didn't see Shaky going into
LA Knight.
I don't know how many years he has left, but probably not a lot.
Let me see who's qualified for Money in the Bank so far.
Well, I know LA Knight has. Yeah. And then Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, for the women, Rhea Ripley I know is qualified, but let's see. No, not 2026. So far in the ladies, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Julia is qualified. And for the men, Solo Sikoa and LA Knight have qualified. So they need to do more qualifying matches for the men. But,
and they will on SmackDown Raw
this week.
They only had one on SmackDown, and that was LA Knights that I remember.
And the other match listed here is Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So that match is happening. But I mean, those are the people that qualified. So I can't give a prediction Money in the Bank until we get all the participants. So LA Knight is probably the one that could win because he's kind of like Jey Uso. He's over with the crowd, but he's an okay guy in the ring. He's not great. He just needs to work with the right guy. So if WWE gave Jey Uso the push, why not LA Knight at this point? Unless they put in somebody which so he's obviously going to win. Like a Braun Breaker or a Karrion Kross or whoever.
Yeah, Braun Breaker.
They decide to put in there.
But, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I want Karrion Kross. I think we both do at this point. Push Karrion Kross. We're going to keep on saying this. Push Karrion Kross,
hopefully he's
guys.
Booked for the money, at least a qualifying match. Because I don't know.
I mean, they haven't had him on Raw. They haven't had him on SmackDown. They haven't. He's
on Main Event, which is a show that barely airs anywhere in the country. So it's like he's been wrestling on Main Event primarily. He's beating guys on Main Event, but it's like Superstars basically. Nobody really watches it now because it's like on syndication or I don't even know where they air that show anymore. It used to air.
Yeah, I don't even know because I would watch it if they aired it. I would watch my guy Karrion Kross. I watched his documentary and I can't say what a more resilient guy and just an all-around awesome person. And I don't say that about a lot of wrestlers because a lot of the wrestlers were assholes outside. But I mean, well, except for Kurt.
See,
Yeah, except for Kurt and Rick Rude. But the rest of them were just kind of like, oh, let's just party till we drop, and we'll just treat everybody like shit. And Ric Flair comes to mind because he was always fucking anything that
yeah.
moved. Brett was another one. Brett was nice outside, but I mean, he was a little bit
Uh-huh.
of a what they call a goat nanny.
Yeah.
He would nag you, a nag
Uh-huh.
nanny.
Yeah. So, did you see?
We love
Yeah.
Bret Hart. Okay, we love Bret Hart. He just was a little bit of a nag.
I assume.
But we love you, Bret.
I assume you saw that on Raw that poor Zoe Stark, like she shattered her knee on Raw in that match. It was a qualifying match.
Yes, and they had to
It was
carry her out.
when Rhea Ripley qualified for Money in the Bank. It was it was her. It was somebody else. I mean,
Jim Cornette was also talking about
yeah,
that. And
Kyrie Sane and her and Zoe Stark.
She's just come back from injury too, and
Yeah,
now she's just fucked up for the rest of her days, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad too because that's another reason why. No, she wouldn't have won. She probably would have taken the fall, but she got hurt 2 minutes into the match, so that's why the other girl, Kyrie Sane, had take the fall. Became 1-on-1 match basically, which Rhea called because they weren't expecting a 1-on-1 match, so they had to call it in the ring. But yeah, basically, I don't know what happened, but Zoe Stark decided to do a missile drop kick off the top rope without waiting for the other girl to turn around. The other girl never turned around. She's looking at Rhea the whole time, and you hear her scream. You scream her name like hey, Kyrie, and she kind of turned around and she tried to land on her feet. Her knee gave out on her and like completely like her. I think her entire knee blown out. She blew out her entire
ACL,
knee.
I think.
At least, I mean, she might have blown her entire knee at that point because the way.
I don't know these chicks, and I really don't know who. What's her name?
Zoe Stark.
Zoe Starks. I really don't know Zoe Starks, and I don't know that Kyla, whatever her other name, the other lady.
Her spot. She'd watch Rhea outside, and usually she starts jumping up and down and running and do like a suicide dive. And that's when she turns around, that's when Zoe hits the drop kick on her. That was the spot.
Right.
For whatever reason. Yeah, whatever reason, Zoe didn't wait for her to turn around and just started to do the drop kick while she was still kind of, looking at Rhea, about to do her spot. And she jumped way too early. I don't know why she did that. I mean, I don't know why she did that because this is another reason why there's not having house shows is an issue.
Right.
They're way off in their timing, and it causes injuries like this. So.
Right. And now, I mean, you just came back from injury, and guess what? You're going to be injury again. You're going to be IR again.
Yeah, she's going to need to reconstruct that whole knee.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's going to be a year and a half, maybe 2 years before she can even think about coming back. Or, because she's going to have to do a lot of training after the surgery, a lot of recuperation, not restoration, but rest and recuperation.
Yeah, she's going
to need a lot of stuff done now. And she literally just came back from an injury. So, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, guys. That's why there's missile drop kicks and all this stupid bullshit, these high flying shit. Yeah, it's good in the moment, but no one remembers the wrestler who did it except for when they fucking injure themselves to the point of where they can't wrestle anymore. This is their livelihood. And when you fuck that up, guess what? You can't do it no more.
Yeah, there was no reason for that spot either. It would have been a cool spot when she turns around to jump to do her spot, and then she takes a drop kick to her and takes a bump. Oh wow, nice move. I mean, nice timing, honestly, because it takes timing to do that properly. It seemed like Zoe Stark just jumped and assumed she'd be there, and when she looked, she wasn't there. So it's like she screamed out her name and she turned around kind of and she kind of
like John Cena going now, shaking her now Nakamura. Now.
Yeah, she just
and shut up, Cena. We can hear you in the back row.
She tried to land on her feet. Unfortunately, her knee gave out on her when she did, and completely blew out her knee. But she already had a knee injury in the past because she was already wearing a knee brace on the other knee. So the healthy knee went out now. So she's gonna be kind of like Steve Austin with 2 knee braces on and stuff.
That's even if she can come back to wrestling. I know those knee injuries can be a real bitch. especially when you're doing it every single night. I mean, back in our day, they were working almost 365, almost.
According, it's like 325, 330.
Yeah,
and
so
even
they were working,
and even on their
much.
quote unquote off days, Vince had them doing promotion and traveling promoting WWF. So
Yep.
even if they weren't wrestling, they were still working. You know, they were still promoting WWF on radio shows and TV shows and stuff. So there wasn't really an off day. Even if you're off from the ring, you were still, traveling.
You were still traveling around trying to, promote the product.
Mm-hmm.
And the product was WWE or WWF in our day. But I mean, this is why, again, you are absolutely correct on this 100%, that getting rid of house shows is not going to help the product. And it's not going to help your wrestlers.
The only thing it helps is TKO's bank account and their stock price, because they have less events to run. And this is the problem with selling to a company. Is not really a pro wrestling company. They don't understand the intricacies of the business and why you need house shows and why you need to run every day, pretty much. So and Triple H knows this, I'm sure, but he's just an employee now. He's just a booker. He can't really make decisions like that. So when they cut house shows, they're going to cut house shows. So Triple H can't control that. So I know, I'm sure, he's like, this is not going to be good. But at the same time, nothing he can do. He's ultimately just an employee of the company. So
well, I need to wrap up here, but the last thing I'd like to talk about is what we saw on X. I am totally grossed out. I can't believe it was bad enough when they had Effie. Was that his name? Effie, the guy who jerked himself off or something.
Yeah.
That was bad enough. But when I saw this, I looked right at my man and went, "Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking puke." It literally made me want to vomit. And it was two wrestlers. I guess two indie wrestlers. I don't think this was AEW. I don't think they'd be stupid enough to do this.
No, it was an indie spot show or something like that.
So apparently two indie wrestlers, one was up against the ropes, as they always are. The other one climbed up to where his dick was basically in his face, and he pissed in his mouth. The guy had his mouth open, and he pisses in his mouth.
I thought,
oh my God.
When I saw that, I thought he had like a water bottle there, and he just
I thought he had a water bottle too, but no, it was his dick.
No, it turns out that's what this guy does. His spot is pissing in guys' faces in the corner. First of all, who would take that spot? It's like, oh yeah, my man. This is if I'm wrestling this guy. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna whip you into the corner. I'm gonna go on top. Instead of punching you, I'm gonna whip my dick out and piss on your mouth. I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Are you serious? I'd be laughing.
First of all, that's not sanitary.
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one, man. I mean, what are you gonna do for real?
Yeah, nice
that's
rib,
what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do.
that was really? A good rib. Okay. So what are we really gonna do? Yeah. No. Because I looked right at my man. I said, "This ain't wrestling. This is a fucking porno that's gone wrong."
And
in front of a live crowd. Yeah. They might as well have just pulled both their dicks out and started fucking each other in the ass.
No, it wasn't.
Or sucking each other's dicks. I mean,
really. I thought it was a water bottle, and even then, I was bad because it just it simulates it. No, he really does this. Apparently, this is his spot, basically.
Apparently, he has a very small dick because I didn't see it. You didn't see the dick. You don't see the dick, and his knee is not that big.
Yeah.
So apparently, he has a very small dick anyway.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand what.
Gross.
What? I
don't. They hardly do those in pornos, guys. They hardly do those in pornos, where they literally piss in someone's mouth. I mean, pissing on someone is a porno thing, but pissing in someone's mouth, they don't even do that in porn. That's gross, y'all.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. I would show. I'm not gonna even show it here. I seen it. It's like going viral. It's like no. I mean, I thought it was a water. He had some sort of water bottle. He did that somehow. That's bad. But no, this is even worse.
Who sits there and just goes,
and takes
it in my mouth.
And takes it. If you're working with that, I'm not.
That's so unsanitary. Then do they swallow the piss?
I don't know what happened after that. They just cut it off. I mean, at that point, the video is like 10 seconds, but at least what I've seen. No, I mean that was bad. I mean that was not.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm not sure if Jim Cornette's seen this because if he did, he's gonna go nuts over
Well,
it.
I mean, the before that went viral, his drive-through already went. But if someone sent it to him, I hope he
Uh-huh.
talks about it. He's gonna say,
Yeah.
"This is they wouldn't even do that shit in a porno."
Yeah,
And
that's
and
what.
he'll tell you straight up, they wouldn't do that. I know he watches them.
Yeah, that's why. That's why he doesn't do indie shows anymore because he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be associated with bullshit like this.
Yeah,
That's why
and the
he
whole,
doesn't want.
the FP sitting there jacking off while a guy
Mhm.
has him in a headlock. I mean, come on, guys. This
Because
is just bullshit.
when you take a booking from an indie promoter, you don't know who's gonna be there. So this Effie guy could be there. This fucking guy who pisses people's mouth could be there, and Jim's associated with that because he's there. I mean, so he's even if he's signing autographs and not being involved in the show, he's still there. It's like so.
But that's not wrestling. That's like a
No,
porno gone wrong, and they don't even do that in pornos.
no.
So I don't think they would. I don't know. I don't watch porn. So
Hmm.
all I'm saying is that you guys are healthy males. You do. Have you ever seen a porno like that? Probably not,
No,
right?
no.
Because they won't even stoop that low.
So yeah, I mean, we could start wrapping up now because I do have to do other things too.
Yeah, I have
And
to
yeah, and real quick, we're gonna be back on next Saturday
next
to
Saturday.
preview Money in the Bank because the next Saturday is Money in the Bank. After that, June
Of
7th, I think
course.
it is. So we'll be back on Saturday, 8 o'clock. I expect Alex to be back because obviously he's watching races today, so he
Yeah,
wasn't
he's
gonna be
watching
here.
NASCAR. And they were
Yeah.
talking
So
about that too, or something about it. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
I only saw brief conversations about it, and then
Uh,
I was just like, "Hey, how about wrestling?" Right? Because they did
well,
that free Palestine thing.
yeah. Pete Hestek did the start your engines thing on one of the races.
And isn't he
So
a racist? He said the N
he's
word or
the
something.
Secretary of Defense. I mean, that's all I know. I don't know anything about his N word thing, but
Oh well, I
he's
thought Indy said something about it, like he said the N word or something.
oh he could have. I don't know. So
I was like, Indy, where do you pick this stuff up?
um yeah. So Angel in the afternoon will be this Friday at 7. We'll be back on Saturday, normal schedule. And then we'll after. So yeah, Money in the Bank is June 7th, so we'll be back June 8th most likely. So yeah,
Yep,
we'll be back on Saturday though, this Saturday to
this
preview
Saturday.
Money
Yep.
in the Bank and maybe get back to clips depending if Alex is there. I'm assuming he will be. Let's see what else. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. So
Yep.
unless you have something else to say before we go, I mean,
Catch me on my shows. Nobody beats Kurt Hennig.
uh-huh,
Nobody. Links are in the description field. If you are Wiccan and you would like to join me on my Whispers of the Craft, I rebranded from Black Magic Talk to Whispers of the Craft.
uh-huh,
Blessed be to you. And if you would like to learn more about the Wiccan, religion, and you just want to know, or I do tarot readings too, and if they resonate with you, I'm actually going to start. So if you would like to do an email reading with me, it's $30. You can give that to me via Cash App, or if you do it through PayPal, just make sure you use the family and friends. So you can do it through PayPal or Cash App. And then I will do a spread for you and give you all the information I can. Usually, I'm trying to write them down right now. So that's $30. If you would like a personal reading with me, an email one. If you want to do a face to face or a video to video, and you want it on the show, great. If you don't, we can just do a personal reading like this, where I talk to you on the video. I'll do my spread. 30 minutes is $20. And then, of course, an hour with me is like $90. So
all
if you
right.
like that, again, you can always give that through PayPal or Cash App. If you do use PayPal, again, just use the family and friends if you could. Also, we are going to be we're going to be back on Saturday. So Pro Wrestling Talk will be back on Saturday. Check us out there. And that's it for me.
All right. And remember at 10 o'clock on top of the hour, Indian Reef will be going live on the INN main channel to do How Do We Miss That? So check that out as well. Thank you very much for watching.